Why do rideshare drivers, whether driving for Uber or Lyft, often give passengers a 1-star rating? What up, folks? Once again, it is your boy Tim with another ride sharing video. This video is in response to a young lady that posted a TikTok video that has now went viral, showing Uber passengers how to check and find out how many 1-star ratings they have received from drivers. Now, many passengers are often shocked. I sit there, I'm peaceful. Why are drivers rating me so low? What did I do to cause that? Uber driver here, Lyft as well. I've been in the ride-sharing business off and on since 2014. Certainly a veteran driver, thousands of trips under my belt. I'm going to give you the top reasons for why an Uber or Lyft driver is likely to give you a low rating. Here is the viral video.
Did you know there's a way to find out how many 1-star reviews you've received from Uber drivers? Well, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to ruin your day. Let's go. Open your Uber app and go to settings, click privacy, put your butt over to privacy center. It's going to say, would you like to see a summary of how you use Uber? And you're just going to, yeah, I want to see that summary, but I don't, but I do. And then you scroll down to ratings. And then when you're ready, click view my ratings. And then it will show you a snapshot of your reviews of your last 500 rides. And you'll see how many. I've never met one person. I do this all the time in a bar, all the time on a first date. I've never seen one person who doesn't have at least 3 1-stars.
Oddly enough, there are an amazing amount of passengers that have followed the instructions this woman has provided and was rather shocked to find out some drivers have given them a very low rating. You know, I sat in the vehicle, I didn't cause any ruckus. Why did I get a 1-star rating? Well, here you go. A rideshare driver, been in the business off and on since 2014. Thousands of rides under my belt. I'm going to give you a detailed list of why a rideshare driver might give you a 1-star rating. These are some things you can do that will lead a driver to rate you in said manner. Because if we give you a 1-star, that greatly increases our chances of never having to deal with you again. So what might lead a driver to give you a 1-star rating? First of all, being an entitled asshole, asking for things that goes above and beyond our duties as a rideshare driver. Could you help me carry this laundry bag into the laundromat? Could you help me carry these groceries up the steps? Could you help me with my wheelchair, with my walker? Things like that. A lot of rideshare drivers do not really want to get out the vehicle. We want to show up, open the door, pick up someone, have them get in and drive to the next point. Now, obviously, there's the issue of tipping. If you want to tip, that will certainly make a difference, but in reality, there's not a lot of tipping in this business. Next, asking for too much shit. Can I control the radio? Or do you have a car charger so I can charge my phone? You're on the highway. Do you mind if I roll the windows down? Now, there's nothing wrong with asking, but you can do it to the point of becoming annoying. Certainly to the point where that driver would rather not have another trip with you ever again for the rest of his life. Next, just doing annoying shit, such as smacking gum too loud or talking on the phone, perhaps like myself, using swear words and things like that. Things that the driver just simply does not favor, making it an unpleasant drive for your rideshare driver. So being annoying certainly can play into getting a low rating. Here's another huge one. Badass kids. A lot of passengers get in our vehicles. They have children that they have no control over, children that have taken the seatbelt off, children that are interfering with the driver in commission of trying to keep the vehicle under control, children that spill shit in our vehicles, whether it is Doritos, M&Ms, or even some liquid drinks. That absolutely happens to many of us drivers. And keep in mind, when that happens, we have to take that vehicle out of service, go to the nearest gas station or car wash somewhere, and vacuum and wipe out whatever your child left behind. Not only does it cost us money for having to use the vacuum in those facilities, we are currently out of service, thereby losing more money we could be earning on future trips. That is a 1-star, a 0 if it was possible. But since we can only give you a 1, that badass kids is a horrible one. Crying too much, all of that stuff. messing with the windows, messing with the controls, badass kids with parents that are not in control of them. We'll do all of that. I've had a passenger with badass kids reach up and touch the seatbelt controls while I was in motion. All of a sudden, I'm doing 70 miles an hour down a highway and somehow started to recline in my seat. That happens. Next, very similar to badass kids, badass animals. A lot of passengers have service animals. Uber and Lyft requires us drivers, due to their policies and terms of service, to allow passengers to have service animals, sometimes comfort animals. So you have passengers getting in your vehicle with big ass dogs, comfort lizards, maybe they're comfort pig, whatever they decide to get in your vehicle with. And just like with badass kids, you have parents and owners that are not in control of their service animals. So you're driving down a highway and all of a sudden somebody's dog is licking the back of your elbow or trying to jump on the back seat of your vehicle and things like that. A lot of passengers, just like many pet owners, see their pets as cute and cuddly. The pet can't do anything wrong. If a pet jumps on you, whether they have claws or dirty paws or not, you should be totally understanding because it is a cute pet. 1-star rating. If I could give you lower, I would, but that is certainly 1-star material. Animals in the vehicle that the owner has no control over. Happens all the time. That's not to say that there are not a lot of service animals that sit quietly and get from point A to point B. We don't have a problem with that. But as I stated, a lot of owners of pets and animals do not have proper control of their animals. There's fur being flying around everything. The dog is licking on you, leaving saliva all over your seats and things like that. Once again, just like with badass kids, we got to clean all of that up after you leave. We don't ever want to see your ass again if your dog does that. 1-star. Last but not least, I talked about one of the reasons why you might get a very low rating that a lot of passengers simply do not understand why. And I'm talking about what would normally be a good passenger. Sat in their seat, quietly getting from point A to point B. All of a sudden they checked their device as this woman instructed and they received a low rating. Tipping. Tipping is very important to us drivers, and unfortunately, Uber and Lyft have downplayed the value of tipping. Uber started out by actually telling the passengers, it is not required to tip the driver, and the driver is not expecting a tip. That is utter nonsense. Let me be as clear as possible to you. As a passenger, understand that the fare you pay to get from point A to point B, generally anywhere from 60 to 80% of that fare is taken by Uber or Lyft. That driver is getting 20 to 40% of your fare. So if you're paid $10 to get from point A to point B, the driver is going to receive less, probably about $4 of that, maybe even less. So understand that the driver is not receiving anywhere near the full fare that you pay to make that trip happen. Not even half. Having said that, tips are of significant importance to the earnings of a rideshare driver. Now, I understand there's a hell of a lot of pushback. I invite you to state that in the comments. However, it's very similar to the restaurant industry and maybe that of a bartender. Their base pay is extremely low, and their income is greatly supplemented by tips. In this market, there's not a lot of passengers that tip because of Uber starting out telling passengers either the driver is not expecting tips, or even the more ridiculous statement of the tip is actually in the fare. All of this stuff is bullshit, but there are plenty of passengers to this day that still believes that stuff. So that is the reason a lot of passengers get a 1-star rating, is because they got out of the vehicle and did not leave the driver a single penny in regards to tips. Plenty of studies show only about 1% of Uber passengers report that they tip every time they get in a vehicle. 1%. I believe it's about 60 to 70% of Uber and Lyft passengers that state they never tip at all. So there's a hell of a lot of passengers that do not tip. That alone can get you a 1 star. But if you add on all of the other shit that I just stated, being an annoying, entitled asshole with bad kids and crazy service animals and things like that, you're almost guaranteed to get a 1 star. Remember, we're giving you these low ratings because we do not want to pick you up ever again. Obviously, if you do not tip, that removes a huge incentive to want to take you from point A to point B again as well. But if you start violating some of the other things by asking us to go above and beyond, yeah, there's no incentive at all to do any of this stuff. So just wanted to give you this take because folks often ask, I didn't get in the car and I was drunk, or I didn't leave bodily fluids behind. Well, there's other reasons why you can get a low rating. And in the comment section, I invite my veteran drivers, feel free to state reasons why you would give a passenger a 1 star rating. Anybody that has been in ride sharing for any length of time, you've had passengers puke in your vehicle, the weekend crowd. This is very known, that passengers get in our vehicles inebriated on Friday and Saturday nights. Bad kids and service animals is another thing that's quite common. Veteran drivers in the comments, as always, state your cases, particularly so that new drivers and prospective drivers that are looking to potentially get into this as a source of income will always be able to use the comment section to make better choices. Nevertheless, it is your boy Tim. As always, subscribe to the damn channel, and I'll see you in the next video.